Yeah.
The parks in Hong Kong, ideally, they can be more touchable. There are many beautiful places, and when children are asked if they want to play there, they're not always sure because they can't touch, they can't climb, they can't roller skate. There are many can't-dos, so that it can meet many prescribed uses. It would be really ideal to have a place you can climb everywhere in Central Park, and they climb all over, you can get wet, you can really touch nature, and that's what's so needed in a big vertical city. And I think there's no reason we can't define areas within this place that are beautifully kept and perhaps precious and art forms, but let there be space where people can really enjoy this area. I think maybe there's 5 key elements that I would look at to define success of the West Kowloon Cultural District. The first would be exemplary connectivity, just being able to really get to it from land, from water, and that the people can really use it. The second would be ideally car-free, having a car-free zone and finding ways that people can still transit, but limiting the traffic aspects and encouraging bikes, sustainable paths. The third would be the green aspect, and green in many ways, but simple green. Grass, trees, really giving the city a place in the center where people can gather, can use the spaces of the city. The fourth and fifth are very related. One is vibrancy and one is diversity. So I think in terms of vibrancy, we're talking about what kind of activities there are, who's there, similar to what was happening with the Biennale, bringing many different people together at different times, finding 24-hour uses for parts of this district. And diversity, again, goes to not only the activities, but also the architectural structures, the built elements, what's available, looking for wide diversity so that you have a lot of small-scale things that people can really touch into, and you have just all scales and all diversity. So those would, aspects of those 5 elements would certainly define success. I think one area that really brought a lot of these issues home was the conference we had in January, where we brought all of those experts from New York, and they were talking about an area surrounded by water, trying to create sustainability, enhancing the verticality, opening up the ground plane. And actually we had people talking about, how do you codify what is needed at the public range? What is the distance that's ideal? How big is too big for a public zone, for benches, for trees, for all of the areas? How do you actually engage this big park so it's not just a big park, but it's actually got all kinds of diverse uses potentially in there? Everything's being done for the right reasons, but maybe not holistically. And so there's an idea that simply we can find certain aspects and give them a check plus because they've done certain elements, put a balcony or done something, potentially been near a train station, different aspects. Maybe it actually would behoove us to bring experts in and really clarify what it is that's making a building sustainable and how that works at a larger scale, what that's actually doing for the ground plane. And that brings you to a very simple rule which has to do with filling up the ground plane here in Hong Kong, looking to encourage the incentives to leave that more open, to create more public spaces, particularly if you're going to be in a public space zone where the ground plane is really encouraged to be given over to the public with aspects that are user friendly, but it doesn't have to be maxed out.